Miami has spent years selling the perfect dream: $1 million condos, 15% of all U.S. tourism, and foreign money reshaping the skyline. But beneath all that, the costs are climbing. Every inch of sea level rise, every insurance bill, every surprise assessment. This city isn't just booming, it's racing a deadline set by physics. The stakes are simple. Who gets to stay, and how long can the dream survive before the real price comes due? Miami's rise as a money city is powered by two engines that never seem to stall: tourism and real estate. Each year, millions arrive for the sand, the nightlife, and the promise of something bigger than everyday life. In 2025, Miami accounted for 15.5% of all United States tourism, more than any other city except Orlando. That is nearly 9 million international visitors, with hotels, restaurants, and clubs running at full tilt. The visitor economy is not just a backdrop, it is the main act, fueling jobs, business openings, and a citywide sense of possibility. Real estate is the other force driving the boom. Miami's skyline grows taller each season, cranes dotting the horizon from Brickell to Sunny Isles. In December 2025, Miami-Dade home sales rose nearly 6% year-over-year, with luxury homes, those above $1 million, up 12%. Even with a slight dip in average home value, now at $572,304, low inventory keeps buyers circling and prices high. The market is tight. Available homes are down more than 17% from pre-pandemic levels. Condos, too, are part of the story, with sales climbing almost 8%, especially in new towers marketed to buyers from across the globe. The numbers tell a story of relentless demand. Office towers fill up as 127 companies have added over 2 million square feet of workspace since 2020. Class A office rents have surged by half, now over $73 per square foot, as law firms, banks, and tech outfits compete for addresses in the city's core. Miami's visitor economy and real estate market feed each other. Tourists become buyers, buyers become residents, and every new arrival helps keep the dream alive. For now, the engines keep running, drawing in capital and ambition from every direction. The question is how long this cycle can continue before the underlying costs start to catch up. Luxury sales in Miami tell a story of their own. In 2025, homes closing above the $1 million mark rose 12%. Even as overall prices dipped. Brokers report that nearly 1 in 5 luxury buyers paid in cash, sidestepping interest rates and moving fast to secure their slice of the skyline. The city's most exclusive addresses, Brickell, Fisher Island, and Sunny Isles, saw bidding wars for penthouses overlooking Biscayne Bay. The luxury threshold itself has climbed, with the median price for a top-tier condo now topping $3.3 million in Miami-Dade. Behind the scenes, Miami's private aviation hubs stay busy. Opa-locka Executive, the region's business jet gateway, handles tens of thousands of movements a year, many by international buyers flying in for a weekend of showings. Real estate agents describe clients arriving on Friday, touring 10 properties by Saturday, and wiring deposits before the return flight. The global appetite is clear. Buyers from Argentina, Brazil, and Europe see Miami as both a playground and a vault, a place to park wealth beyond the reach of local volatility. Industry reports show that Miami consistently ranks among the top 3 U.S. cities for investor interest, outpacing New York and Los Angeles in certain luxury segments. Even as investor purchases drop nationwide, Miami's prestige market holds its ground. The city's brand, sun, security, and status remains magnetic for those with the means to buy in. Every new record sale and every jet on the runway reinforces the idea that Miami is a safe haven for global wealth. But this surge of capital also raises a question. How much of the boom depends on the belief that the good times can last, no matter what the underlying realities might be? The answer will be tested as Miami faces challenges that money alone cannot easily solve. Beneath Miami's glittering skyline, the ground tells a different story. 6 feet above sea level, the city sits on a foundation of ancient, porous limestone, oolitic limestone to be exact. This rock isn't solid like granite. Instead, it's riddled with tiny holes and channels, the result of millions of years of marine life and chemical weathering. Water moves through this bedrock the way air passes through a sponge. When tides rise in Biscayne Bay, salt water doesn't just lap at the edges, it seeps under the city, pushing up through the ground, storm drains, and even manhole covers. This process, known as tidal pumping, means that flooding can happen from below, even on clear, sunny days. The ground itself is porous. A University of Miami geologist once described Miami's subsurface as a layer cake of vulnerability. Rainwater and seawater move freely through the limestone, making it almost impossible to seal the city off from the ocean. The water table sits just a few feet below the surface in many neighborhoods. During king tides, the pressure from the bay forces groundwater upward, flooding streets far from the shoreline. It's not just a coastal problem. Blocks inland, water can bubble up through cracks and grates, turning intersections into shallow ponds. Unlike cities built on clay or bedrock, Miami can't rely on levees or seawalls alone. The porous ground means that water ignores barriers, finding its own path upward. Engineers and planners can raise roads and build pump stations, but the underlying geology sets hard limits. Every inch of sea level rise doesn't just raise the ocean, it lifts the groundwater, squeezing out space for stormwater and increasing the risk of flooding from below. The city's low elevation, combined with its sponge-like foundation, makes tidal flooding a predictable, recurring challenge. This hidden risk shapes every decision about infrastructure and development. The science isn't abstract, it's the daily reality for residents and builders. In Miami, the ground itself is an open door for the sea, and no amount of surface-level glamour can change the rules set by limestone and tide. On Collins Avenue and Alton Road, the daily routine can be upended by nothing more than the pull of the moon. During king tide season, water rises through storm drains and manhole covers, turning familiar streets into shallow rivers. The October 2015 flooding on Alton Road stands out. For 3 days in a row, salt water crept across asphalt, leaving cars stranded and commuters waiting in shoes and office clothes. Phone videos from that week went viral, showing delivery drivers carrying boxes above their heads, restaurant staff laying out sandbags, and cyclists detouring onto sidewalks to avoid knee-deep pools. For small businesses, every high tide brings a new calculation. On Miami Beach, a cafe manager checks the tide charts as often as the weather. One morning of flooding can mean lost deliveries, empty tables, and hours spent mopping up briny water instead of serving customers. Landscapers haul away ruined plants after salt water kills the roots, only to return the next month to do it again. Commuters brace for closed lanes and unexpected detours, with traffic updates warning of flooded intersections from South Beach to North Bay Village. The impact is not limited to beachfront blocks. In low-lying neighborhoods, water bubbles up through cracks in the pavement, leaving behind a film of salt that corrodes cars and eats away at concrete. Residents share photos of submerged crosswalks and flooded parking lots, tagging city officials in hope of a fix. For some, the inconvenience is an occasional hassle. For others, it is a threat to their business or their home. Each king tide season brings a new round of viral clips and frustrated posts, but the pattern is familiar. Water on the streets, cleanup crews in yellow boots, and another reminder that the problem is not going away. The city responds with temporary barriers and sandbags, but the next high tide is always on the calendar. For Miami, these disruptions are more than a nuisance. They are a preview of what everyday life could look like as the water keeps rising. Every inch of Miami's adaptation comes with a price tag that never goes away. The city's 86 stormwater pump stations, running day and night during king tides, draw about $1.5 million in electricity every year. That is before counting the $25 million to $35 million spent annually on operating and maintaining these systems, routine work that doubles in frequency as salt water eats through metal and wiring. Each pump, built to last maybe 15 years in normal conditions, faces replacement in just 7 to 10 years here, at a cost of up to $2 million per station. The cycle repeats: new equipment, more repairs, another round of corrosion. Raising roads is no one-time fix either. Elevating a single mile of street costs $20 million up front, with annual upkeep running another $200,000. Miami Beach has already spent over $30 million just to lift 1.5 miles of Alton Road, and every 2 decades, sometimes sooner, the work must be done again as the sea keeps rising. City budgets reflect this reality. Miami now allocates up to $150 million a year for stormwater, flood, and resilience projects, with costs climbing 5 to 10% annually. These are not investments that ever end. They are perpetual obligations, built into the city's DNA, and every new inch of sea level rise only accelerates the meter. On Miami Beach, the battle against rising water takes literal shape in the streets themselves. Over the past decade, city crews have raised more than 7 miles of roads, with projects like Alton Road and West Avenue lifted by as much as 3 feet. Every block elevated means new curbs, reworked driveways, and drainage systems designed to channel water away before it can pool. The cost is steep. Raising 1 mile of road can run upwards of $20 million, and the work never really ends. Asphalt cracks under the pressure of saltwater intrusion, and repairs come due long before the typical lifespan of a street. Beneath those roads, a network of pumps works around the clock. Miami operates 86 stormwater pump stations, each one monitored from a control room where engineers track water levels and system status in real time. On a king tide day, those pumps move millions of gallons, sometimes enough to fill an Olympic pool every few minutes. But the salt eats through metal and wiring, so maintenance cycles are constant. A pump built to last 15 years elsewhere might need replacing in half that time here, at a cost that can top $2 million per station. These fixes are visible and costly, but they are not permanent solutions. They buy time, not certainty, and every inch the sea rises means the next round of upgrades starts sooner. Insurance bills in Miami have become a monthly test of how much risk a homeowner can afford. Premiums that once felt like background noise now rival mortgage payments, with Florida leading the nation at an average annual home insurance cost of $14,140. In Miami, insurance now eats up nearly 1/5 of the average mortgage bill, up from just over $300 a month a decade ago to more than $500 today. That is before factoring in rising deductibles, which have quietly climbed from 2 or 3% of a home's value to as high as 10% for wind and hurricane coverage. For a $500,000 property, that means a storm could leave the owner on the hook for $50,000 before insurance pays a dime. Renewal season brings its own anxiety. Letters arrive warning of non-renewal, new exclusions, or sharp premium hikes. Some homeowners are forced onto Citizens, the state-backed insurer of last resort, while others scramble to find private carriers willing to take on coastal risk. Even when a new policy is found, it often comes with a higher price tag or steeper out-of-pocket costs. Insurance brokers describe a market where every new flood map, every severe storm, and every update to actuarial models gets priced in almost immediately. Deductible buyback programs and coverage carve-outs have become standard tools, shifting more responsibility onto owners. The effects ripple outward. Landlords pass higher costs to renters, condo boards raise monthly fees, and homeowners association assessments spike to cover building-wide policies. For many, the cost of staying insured is now as important as the price of the home itself. Miami's insurance math doesn't just reflect the risk, it translates it, line by line, into a bill that arrives every month, with no ceiling in sight. On a quiet weekday, a notice arrives in the mailbox of a Miami condo owner. It is not another bill or a routine update. It is a special assessment letter. The number is staggering. Millions of dollars divided among the building's residents, each share calculated down to the last square foot. For some buildings, the total can reach $10 million, $40 million, even close to $100 million in the largest, oldest towers. The reason is laid out in careful language: reserve funding, structural repairs, insurance hikes, all required by new state laws passed after the Surfside tragedy. The collapse of Champlain Towers South in 2021, which claimed 98 lives, changed the rules for every condo in Florida. Now, buildings older than 30 years must undergo milestone inspections and set aside full reserves for repairs. No more waivers, no more deferrals. The treasurer of a building from the 1970s flips through engineer reports, concrete columns marked for shoring, parking decks flagged for urgent work, a new roof needed before hurricane season. The numbers add up quickly. One line item alone, replacing corroded rebar, runs into the millions. The board votes, and the assessment is set. Some owners will owe $80,000 or more, due in lump sums or over a few years, on top of monthly fees that have already doubled since 2021. For many, this is not just a financial strain, it is a breaking point. A Surfside survivor describes the fear that never quite fades, the constant worry every time a new crack appears or a hallway smells of damp concrete. She talks about neighbors forced to sell, retirees emptying savings, families facing foreclosure. The building is safer now, but the cost of safety is measured in more than dollars. Across Miami, the story repeats. Owners caught between the promise of ocean views and the reality of bills that can wipe out a lifetime of equity. The boom continues, but for thousands of residents, the dream now comes with a deadline stamped in red ink. Right now, Miami's future is being priced in, one insurance bill, one seawall, one special assessment at a time. As adaptation costs outpace wages and risk reshapes who can stay, the city's greatest luxury may soon be stability itself. In Miami, the clock isn't just ticking, it is flooding. What would you bet on, the dream or the deadline? Share your thoughts below.